and welcome back to Mexico News Network's breaking news, broadcasting from the beautiful El Dorado Royal Spa Resort by Charisma. Now, for positive and relevant information on Mexico's thriving industries, log on to our website on www.mexiconewsnetwork.com and also follow us on social networks on Facebook, Twitter, as well as Google+, where you will find us as Mexico News Network. Now let's move along to more relevant and positive information about Mexico. Now remember that car blocking the street because it's parked at an illegal spot? Or that quite young man that is taking a seat designated for senior citizens on the bus or subway? Enter Los Supercívicos, a Mexican duo who have become heroes of everyday life by fighting apathy and trying to foster much-needed civic-mindedness in Mexico City. Now, all of this with a dose of humor, of course. Defining civic-mindedness neatly is not so simple and may have different meanings in different cultures. At the time of this article's publishing, a Google search of the term brings up as first option a paper authored by Singapore Civil Service College, in which authors Cheng Wan Hao and Ku Wan themselves acknowledge that this term is seldom clearly defined. Now, for the sake of brevity, we will use this term to denote behavior of a citizen that respects the laws and contributes to the proper functioning of society and the welfare of its community. Sadly, we know that this is not always put into practice. In Mexico City, for instance, a pervasive lack of civic-mindedness is held responsible for the vicious cycle of apathy and transgression, which negatively affects everyone's ability to get on with their lives and get along really. Now, this said, Arturo Hernandez and Alex Marin Ical, aka Los Supercívicos, decided it was high time the cycle was broken. Once a week, they go out with their cameras onto the streets of the capital performing happenings to denounce government negligence in their communities and expose citizens who show no regard for their community. The common denominator of the Mexican mind of people who are good but commit many civic mistakes is the no más tantito, which means in English, just a little bit, Hernandez told BBC Mundo. The cigarette butt is just a bit of dirt, blocking a wheelchair access ramp just for a little bit, boxing someone in a parking spot by parking right beside that person's car just for a second. Now, the idea of Los Supercívicos originated 10 years ago when Hernandez nearly had an accident because of the negligence of another driver. Determined to do something about it, he started to walk the streets of Mexico City with a camera, exposing the bad habits of people, which attracted the attention of the national media. Unfortunately, the duo found that when an offer was made by a television network to produce a show, a great deal of the work was censored, which is something that has been credited to their frequent complaints against politicians and political parties. Eventually, the duo finally resorted to uploading their material online, exhibiting those who break the rules just a little bit. Marin Ical said to BBC that the most important thing is to change the idea that people cannot change. They can change, in fact, they state. The efforts of two people may not change the entire world, but if everybody took down a sign, might be helping a little bit. All of this is in reference to the duo's practice of clipping and removing massive campaign posters during election time. Now, if you would like to know more about the duo's antics, why don't you check out their website on www.tomatetujugo.com. In more news, every single day tons of garbage gets disposed into our oceans. Worst of all, unbeknownst known to many of us, an estimated of 70% of this trash sinks to the ocean floor. Now, there are 5 main gyres of debris floating in the ocean: North Pacific, South Pacific, North Atlantic, South Atlantic, and on the Indian Ocean, which means that there is a great bunch of trash floating in nearly every ocean in the world. Concerned with this situation, and right after experiencing it firsthand, Alejandro Duran, a multimedia artist, photographer, and teacher, is addressing the problem of plastic pollution covering the shores of Siancán, which is Mexico's largest federally protected reserve. He is doing this with his project Washed Up, in which he gathers debris to create installments, which he photographs afterward. The result is a reflection of the current state of the world's oceans. The resulting photo series depicts a new form of colonization by consumerism, where even undeveloped land is not safe from the far-reaching impact of our disposable culture, according to Duran on his official website. His project is very much aimed at raising awareness and transforming the people's vision of what a world revolving around consumerism is actually generating. His photographs are mostly color-based. The debris is placed in strategic positions to mimic natural flows, as well as natural elements such as algae, fruits, and roots. The artist then takes approximately 10 days from start all the way until he finishes. It's all relatively easy to find certain colors in plastic remains such as blue, white, and black. Others are quite harder to find. However, Duran told Wire magazine purple is one of the least abundant colors and is quite like gold to him. Duran has claimed to identify the origin of some of the plastic he has collected over the past years, recognizing them from 50 different nations on 6 continents. The photographs of this plastic remains are up on his website, along with tags from different countries where they're from. After Duran completes his artwork, he then tries to recycle most of it. Unfortunately, some of the pieces are too degraded to be recycled, so he keeps them for future projects. Raising awareness and caring for the world's oceans is not a one-man job, and every little effort can make a great difference. One notable example of the work of Boyan Slat is a Dutch teenager who has recently proposed an ocean cleanup system to remove at least half of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Although a cleanup will have a profound effect, it is just part of the solution, Slat told Ocean Cleanup. We also need to close the tap to prevent any more plastic from reaching the oceans in the first place. Moving along to more information, the Guelaguetza, the highest form of artistic and traditional expressions of Oaxaca, is the most impressive display on behalf of the communities that are part of the state's 8 regions. Now, Oaxaca is a state located in the south of Mexico with a lot to offer. With its 9 bays and 36 beaches, Oaxaca is undoubtedly a place definitely worth visiting. But there is one event worth talking about that takes place in the city of Oaxaca de Juárez, the state capital of Oaxaca, and this is the Guelaguetza, also known as the Fiesta de los Lunes de Cerro, which means in English, Feast of the Mondays on the Hill. It started back in 1932 as a racial homage, a festival that displayed regional and national Mexican culture. Now today, the Guelaguetza is the most important holiday in the state, which in the 8 regions of Oaxaca meet La Costa Chica, Cañada, Tuxtepec, Mixteca, Sierra Sur, Sierra Norte, Valles Centrales, and Istmo, and present the most important aspects of their traditions through the arts. It's noteworthy that during the festival, all the music heard is performed live, as each region brings its very own musicians and bands, which plays music primarily through wind instruments. Now, the word Guelaguetza itself is a Zapotec word, which means to share or to give away. During this entire festivity, which is held at the Cerro Fortín, which overlooks the entire city on the last 2 Mondays of July, a cultural exchange takes place between the people of the communities. This year will be the Guelaguetza's 83rd edition on July 20th and the 27th. Now, if you're visiting, you can enjoy the folklore over 50 communities from the 8 regions of Oaxaca, as each one provides a sample of their customs as well as traditions. So now you know, Do not wait any longer and head down to Oaxaca to enjoy one of the most important cultural events in Mexico. Moving along to more information. As part of the dual year of Mexico in the United Kingdom and vice versa, Mexico City's Ministry of Tourism and Culture has announced that from this summer until December this year, the capital will host several events related to that Fab Four we all love and adore, the Beatles. Concerts, exhibitions, and even the institution of a new Guinness record are being planned to honor the musical legacy of John, Paul, George, and Ringo. So far, Miguel Torruco, Mexico City's Minister of Tourism, has released some of the events that are part of the agenda, so here they are, so take brief note. The Beatles, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. The Beatles, ayer, hoy y mañana. This is an event that will take place from Friday, July 3rd up until the 30th in the Soumaya Museum that will host a fascinating exhibition of collectible objects related to this fantastic four, including posters, LPs, magazines, toys, and all the kind of stuff that was popular during the first years of the Beatlemania. After the official inauguration, experts will set up a roundtable to discuss the role and influence that John, Paul, George, and Ringo had on the group between 1957 and 1965. This is definitely not to be missed, and there's no entrance fee. Saturdays will be of cinema and music. Save all July Saturdays in your agenda now, because the Soumaya Museum is also organizing the exhibition of movies, documentaries, and concerts. On the 11th of July, the movie A Hard Day's Night and the concert featuring Sgt. Pepper's Band, which will be on the 11th. On the 18th, a documentary anthology of the Beatles, Chapter 3 and 4, as well as a concert featuring wigs that will take place. On the 25th, the movie Help and a concert featuring London Town will be held at the Soumaya. Now, to celebrate Johnny's 75th birthday, the Ministry of Tourism and Culture is preparing a large party on October 9th. The event will be a concert hosted by several groups performing a replica of the legendary Cavern Club of Liverpool. And in the month of November, Mexico City will try to set a brand new Guinness World Record for the highest number of people dressed as the Beatles singing Let It Be. Now, for this occasion, there will need to be at least 250 people attending. So if you're a Beatles fan, you have to be there and be part of this historical event. You may even make records. If you have always wondered what traveling on the magical mystery bus was like, you'll be glad to know that in December, 3 double-decker buses will provide for the second time a special tour with live music of the Beatles while passengers enjoy the metropolitan landscape of Mexico City. Now, so far, the entire route includes the Zócalo, Plaza Reforma Avenue, the Angel of Independence Monument, the National Auditorium, and El Parque México. Now, before saying goodbye to 2015, the Centro Cultural Futurama will organize a major exhibition of paraphernalia and films of the fantastic and Fab Four. There will be also exchanges of souvenirs, concerts from the Beatles covers bands, and conferences about John, Paul, George, and Ringo. Now, if you don't want to miss any details about future events related to this celebration of the Liverpool Four, don't forget to stay tuned to Mexico News Network. Sadly, this was all for today. Thank you so much for staying with us, broadcasting from El Dorado Royal Spa Resort by Carisma. Now remember, Mexico News Network is your #1 source of positive, relevant, and important information on Mexico and the world. So stay logged on to our website on www.mexiconewsnetwork.com, and don't forget to follow us also on social networks on Facebook, Twitter, as well as Google+. It was a great day today. I am your host, Elisa Carballo, and we will see you next time. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Audio Jungle.